Now, making a list and checking it twice at this time of year, all of Santa's helpers are full steam ahead. David's been a helper for the last 15 years, but this year his jolly sparkle has been dimmed. So what's got him down and wishing for a Christmas miracle?
Every day at Christmas time, David Meadows suits up as one of Santa's many helpers.
Merry Christmas.
A job he adores.
The innocence of children, it's a precious thing, and one needs to preserve it as much as one can.
More than a decade of dedication to the man in red.
Oh, I've been Santa's special helper now for, on and off about 15 years. And, I love it. Yes, I've done all kinds of things. I've done shopping centres and special installations.
But the 57-year-old isn't so jolly this December after receiving an eviction notice from his real estate agent.
Right in time for Christmas is when they want me out of here.
Out of his suit, David gets real.
I take full responsibility for the fact that I'm behind in my rent.
David says he owes about $1,200 on his $500 a week studio apartment in the harbourside suburb of Sydney's Rushcutters Bay. A suburb he chose because it's close to his work.
David, have you considered living elsewhere, somewhere cheaper?
I would love to move somewhere cheaper and, maybe even contradictorily slightly bigger.
David says he moved in after returning from a year working in Japan at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
It was the greatest. It was the best. I loved it. I'd have happily stayed there for 10 years, but they didn't want me to, so I came back in April.
The well-travelled actor has made a long career on stage and screen.
They won't get recycled like that. Pop them into your recycling bin loose.
No good, it would never succeed. The British are excellent marksmen.
David says he's struggled to get acting gigs since moving back to Australia and has been forced to work in other industries.
I was able to sign back up with this company I used to work with in Melbourne, driving a forklift out at the convention centre in Darling Harbour. But that's casual work.
He says he's now working back-to-back shifts every day as one of Santa's helpers in Sydney's CBD up until Christmas Eve.
Right at this precise moment, I do not have any time at all to be moving anywhere.
All David's asking for is a bit more time to play catch-up on his mounting bills.
I just think that under the circumstances, I think a stay of execution at least until the new year.
David says he tried to contact McGrath estate agents Surrey Hills, but his real estate agent was on leave.
And I said, well, I've sent emails, no response to those emails, and I've left messages with that woman that I spoke to at the office.
A Current Affair managed to get a hold of the real estate agent who said a payment plan is an option, and the eviction email, which caused David so much distress, was automatically sent after his failed payments.
We really need to shift to a negotiation and a recognition that sometimes life happens, sometimes you will fall behind.
Tenants Union CEO Leo Patterson-Ross says the 14-day eviction period isn't long enough for struggling tenants.
And that's very short compared to, for instance, in England, where the notice period or the rent arrears period is more like 2 months.
Fortunately for David, he's now opened up conversations with his landlord before the end of the 2-week notice period. Leo says giving tenants more time to negotiate is crucial in the current rental climate.
We have a really competitive rental sector where people are really struggling to get their foot in the door, even if they can demonstrate that they can afford the rent. These are lives that we need to be very careful about, and we shouldn't be too blasé about just sending out notifications.
From March next year, those in David's position will have some extra help.
People who are receiving Centrelink payments and pay their rent through CentrePay will be able to rely on CentrePay to make sure that their payments go through. Agents will have to accept that as a fee-free way to pay the rent.
And as David negotiates a longer lease, this Santa's helper hopes for a Christmas miracle.
And what would you like for Christmas?
I think I'd like to not be evicted.
Well, we're happy to report David and his landlord have now locked into a payment plan, so Santa's helper will be home for Christmas.